Modern architecture or modernist architecture was an architectural style based upon new innovative technologies of construction, especially the use of glass, steel, and reinforced concrete. The idea that the form should follow function and embrace minimalism and a rejection of an ornament. It emerged in the first half of the 20th century and became dominant after World War II until the 1980s, when it gradually replaced the principal style for institutional and corporation buildings by postmodern architecture. The Haus am Horn is a domestic house in Weimar, Germany, designed by George Musch. It was built for the Bauhaus Werkschau exhibition, which ran from July to September 1923. It was the first building based on the Bauhaus design principles, which revolutionized the 20th century architectural and aesthetic thinking and practice. It is a simple cubic design with a flat roof, utilizing steel and concrete in its construction. Saving energy was an important consideration as the deprivations of World War I fuel shortages were still fresh in mind. The house had 4 bedrooms described as the ladies' room, the gentleman's room, the children's room, and the guest room. It also had a kitchen, pantry, and a separate dining room, a living room with a workspace off it, and a separate toilet and bathroom. Villa La Roche, also Maison La Roche, is a house in Paris designed by Le Corbusier and his son Thierry Générat in 1923 to 1925. It was designed for Roland Laroche, a Swiss banker from Basel and a collector of avant-art. Villa La Roche houses the foundation of Le Corbusier. La Roche commissioned Le Corbusier to build a villa as well as a gallery to house his art collection. In 1928, Le Corbusier and Perrin collaborated on furniture. The fruits of their collaboration were first done for Villa La Roche. The furniture item includes 3 chrome-plated tubular steel chairs designed for 2 of his projects, the Maison La Roche in Paris and Pavilion for Barbara and Henry Church. The Barcelona Pavilion, designed by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe and Lily Reich, was the German pavilion for the 1929 International Exposition in Barcelona, Spain. This building was used for the official opening of the German section of the exhibition. It is an important building in the history of modern architecture, known for its simple form and its spectacular use of extravagant materials, such as marble, red onyx, and tartavine. The same features of minimalism and spectacular can be applied to the prestigious furniture specifically designed for the building, including the iconic Barcelona chair. It is inspired by the many modernist buildings. One unique feature of this building is the exotic materials that Mies chooses to use. Plates of high-grade stone materials like veneers of Tinos Verde Antico marble and golden onyx, as well as the tinted glass of gray, green, white, as well as the translucent glass, perform exclusively as spatial dividers. Villa Savoy is a modernist villa in Poissy on the outskirts of Paris, France. It was designed by the Swiss architect Le Corbusier and his cousin Thierry Générat, and built between 1928 and 1931 using reinforced concrete. The house was originally built as the country retreat for the Savoy family. After being purchased by the neighboring school, it became the property of the French state in 1958. After surviving several proposals to demolish it, it was designated as an official French historical monument in 1965. The 4 columns in the entrance hall seemingly direct the visitor up the ramp. This ramp, which can be seen from almost everywhere in the house, continues to the first floor living area and salon before continuing externally from the first floor roof terrace up to the second floor solarium. At the Villa Savoy, the act of cleansing is represented by both the sink in the entrance hall and the celebration of the health-giving properties of the sun in the solarium on the roof, which is given significance by the terminal upper point of the ramp. The Villa Savoy used horizontal ribbon windows found in his earlier villas. It has been suggested that this is because he was interested in glass for its planar properties, and that the setback position of the glass in the timber frame allowed the facade to be seen as a series of parallel planes. Falling Water is a house designed by architect Frank Lloyd Wright in 1935 in rural southwestern Pennsylvania, 43 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. The house was built partially over a waterfall on a bear run in the Mill Run section of Stewart Township, Fayette County, Pennsylvania, located in Laurel Highlands of the Allegheny Mountains. The house was designed as a weekend home for the family of Lillian and Edgar Jr. Kaufman, owner of Kaufman's Department Store. Falling Water stands as one of Wright's greatest masterpieces, both for its dynamism and for its integration with its striking natural surrounding. Falling Water has been described as an architectural tour de force of Wright's organic architecture. Wright's passion for the Japanese architecture was strongly reflected in the design of Falling Water, especially in the importance of interpreting exterior and interior spaces and the strong emphasis placed on the harmony between man and nature. Wright had initially planned to have the house blend into its natural settings. In doing so, he limited his palette to two colors, a light ochre for the concrete and his signature Cherokee red for the steel. Postmodern architecture is a style or movement which emerged in the 1960s as a reaction against the austerity, formality, and lack of variety of modern architecture, especially in the international style advocated by Philip Johnson and Henry Russell Hitchcock.
Vanna Venturi House. The Vanna Venturi House is one of the first prominent works of the postmodern architecture that is located in Pennsylvania, America. It was designed by architect Robert Venturi for his mother in the year 1964. The five-room house stands only about 30 feet tall but has a monumental front facade by intentionally manipulating the architectural element that indicate a building scale. Elements such as a non-structural appealing arch and hole in the wall window were an open challenge to modernist orthodoxy as described by Venturi. Architectural influence. Many of the basic elements of the house are a reaction against standard modernist architectural elements. For example, the pitched roof rather than a flat roof, a closed ground floor rather than a modernist column and a glass wall which opens up ground floor. On the front elevation, the broken pediment or gable and a purely ornamental applique arch reflect to a return of Mannerist architecture. The Portland building, alternatively referred as the Portland Municipal Services Building, is a 15-story municipal office building located at downtown Portland. It opened in the year 1982 and was considered architecturally groundbreaking at the time. The building housed offices of the city of Portland and is located adjacent to Portland City Hall. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in the year 2011. The building is currently closed for reconstruction, which began in the December 2017 and is due to last about 3 years. Architecture influence and style. The renovation retains the building basic postmodern architectural style while changing some of the building material to better withstand weather and earthquake. The teal-colored tiles of the lower 3 floors will be replaced with larger terracotta ring-screen tiles. The existing painted concrete facade will be covered by a new aluminum ring-screen cladding. The existing dark tinted window will be replaced with clear glass windows. and the stucco garlands on the side of the building will be rebuilt using foam aluminum. Construction method and material use. The roof of the Portland building is covered with a green roof installed in 2006. The roof was proposed in 2005, part of an experiment through the Oregon State University to test a water-absorbing plant for the Northwest. The new roof will help the building's heating, cooling, and stormwater runoff system. The Dancing House. The Dancing House of Fred and Ginger is the nickname given to the National Netherlands building in Prague, Czech Republic. It was designed by the Croatian Czech architect Vlado Milunic and architect Frank Gehry on the vacant riverfront plot. The building was designed in the year 1996. The non-traditional design was controversial at the time because the house stands out among the Baroque, Gothic and Art Nouveau buildings for which Prague is famous for. Architecture influence and style. The design is known as deconstructive architecture due to its unusual shape. The dancing shape is supported by 99 concrete panels, each a different shape and dimension. On the top of the building is a large twisted structure of metal. In the middle square of the building, from the 18th and the 19th century, the dancing house has two main parts. The first is a glass tower that narrows at half its height and is supported by curved pillars. The second runs parallel to the river and is characterized by undulating molding and unaligned windows. The famous dancers Fred and Ginger are represented in the structure. A tower made of rock is used to represent Fred, and a tower made of glass is used to represent Ginger. This design was driven mainly by aesthetic consideration. A lined window would make it evident that the building has two more floors, although it is the same height as the two adjacent 19th century buildings. The windows have protruding frames such as those of paintings, as the designer intended for them to have a three-dimensional effect. The winding molding of the facade also served to confuse perspective as diminished contrast with the surrounding building. Glass Pavilion. The ultra-modern glass pavilion by Steve Herman that was built in the year 2010 is a rethinking structure inside of innovation. It is a benchmark building that sets the bar in respect to what innovation is and can be. Mies van der Rohe's Barcelona Pavilion and Farnsworth House, and in addition Philip Johnson's Glass House, were these kind of characterizing structures. Presently, Steve Herman's Glass Pavilion take the structural occupant of this creed and launches these ideas into the new 1,000 years. Architecture influence and style. A totally glass home, it permits tenant to be easily inside while totally encompassed inside of nature. As you drive down the since a long time ago gated carport, it gradually comes into perspective. You are quickly gone up against with a vast of all glass home, skimming above tenderly moving gardens. The mix of engineering earth-shattering style and great point of interest in completion quality make it a home without think about. It is the zenith of building design for this era and will characterize the time in which it was fabricated. Construction method and material use. Through the utilization of enormous auxiliary steel pillars, the house can seem weightless as it drifts over broad grass. No cost has been saved amid the 6 years that it took to finish these monumental structures. The majority of the huge glass boards are Starfire glass, a staggeringly clear glass normally held for abdomen shows. National Mosque of Malaysia. The National Mosque of Malaysia is a mosque in Kuala Lumpur. Its key feature are the 73-meter high minaret and a 16-pointed star concrete main roof. The umbrella, synonym with the tropics, is a feature conspicuously. The main roof is reminiscent of an open umbrella, while the minaret's cap will be the folded one. Completed in the year 1965, the mosque is a bold and modern approach in reinforced concrete, symbolic of the aspiration of then newly independent nation. Historical event. On the 30th July 1957, In the meeting of the Federal Executive Council, an idea to build a national mosque as a symbol of the country's independence was mooted. In another meeting on 5th March 1958, Chief Minister of the 11 states in the Federation of Malaya, a proposal was made to name the mosque Masjid Tuanku Abdul Rahman Putra Al-Hajj in recognition of Prime Minister Tunku Abdul Rahman's effort in guiding the country gaining independence. However, Tunku refused this honour. On the contrary, he named it Masjid Negara in thanksgiving for the country's peaceful independence without bloodshed. Architecture, influence and style. The mosque underwent major renovation in the year 1987, and the once pink concrete roof is now clad in green and blue tiles. Today, Masjid Negara continues to stand sleek and stylish against the Kuala Lumpur skyline. An underground passage leads to the National Mosque located near the railway station along Jalan Sultan Hisamuddin. Its unique modern design embodies a contemporary expression of traditional Islamic art, calligraphy and ornamentation. Near the mosque is the Makam Pahlawan, a burial ground of several Malaysian Muslim leaders. Komta. The Komta Tower in the city of Georgetown, Penang is the state's tallest skyscraper and the 11th tallest building in Malaysia. Komta is an acronym for Complex Tun Abdul Razak, named after the second Prime Minister of Malaysia. The tower was constructed in 1986. At the time of its completion, the Komta Tower was the second tallest building in Asia after Sunshine 60 in Tokyo. The building maintained its status as Malaysia's tallest skyscraper for another 3 years before being surpassed by Menara Maybank in Kuala Lumpur. To this day, Komta Tower's status as Penang's tallest skyscraper remains unchallenged. Komta actually consists of a multi-purpose complex comprising retail outlets, a transportation hub, and administrative office of Penang State Government. It was named after Tun Abdul Razak bin Hussein Al-Hajj, the second Prime Minister of Malaysia. In 2015, as part of the revitalization plan, 3 more stories were added, raising the height of Komta Tower to 249 meters. In addition, Komta Tower is a home to the Rainbow Skywalk, the highest glass skywalk in Malaysia, which has been installed at the top of the skyscraper and launched in 2016. Further effort to revitalize Komta include the launch of Gravity Build as the world's highest rope course at the exterior of the skyscraper 65th floor in 2018. Architecture, influence and style. It was meant to revitalize the city of Georgetown by creating a complex that would house administrative, commercial, retail and transportation function under one roof, as well as projecting Penang relatively new modernist architectural scene in the post-independence era. Construction method and material use. Material use for Komta Tower is concrete. The master plan was divided into 5 phases for implementation. However, the Komta project also entitled the destruction of hundreds of colonial-era shop houses, schools and temples around the 100-hectare site, displacing the more established neighborhood in the process.
Petronas Twin Towers, a pair of skyscraper office buildings in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, that are among the tallest buildings in the world. The Twin Towers, built to house the headquarters of Petronas, the National Petroleum Company of Malaysia, were designed by the Argentine-born American architect Cesar Pelli. They were completed in 1998 and the plan for each tower is identical. The plan is an 8-lobe circular structure that contains 88 stories of occupiable space and a pyramid chain pinnacle surmounted by a cylinder steel spire. The floor plate of the tower is designed based on geometric patterns composed in architecture of Islamic heritage. It is composed of 2 rotated superimposed squares with a small circular influence. These geometric figures has been described by architects as symbolizing unity, harmony, stability, and rationality. The tower rises to the height of 451.9 meters, which includes the 73.6 meters for the pinnacle and the spire. Each building is supported by 16 large columns around its perimeter, which along the rest of the frame are made of high-strength steel reinforced concrete rather than steel. The exterior sheathing consists of stainless steel and a glass, and a sky bridge. The 2-story stall links the 2 towers between the 41st and the 42nd stories.